Hi fellow late night coders, welcome back and thank you for watching this video. So when it comes to web development, it is crucial to keep in mind that your website visitors are going to use many different devices to view your website. Therefore, it is very important for you to make sure that the user experience is equally smooth and friendly on most, if not all, devices. In this video, I show you how to detect device type, whether it's mobile, tablet, or desktop, laptop, in your HTML, JavaScript, and CSS code. You can either use only one of these techniques or combine them in your code for the purpose that you have. During this video, I show you examples on my portfolio website to give you real-life ideas on where you would need these. Okay, so before we get started, if you are new to this channel, please make sure to hit the subscribe button below and turn the notifications on. That way you will be the first to know when I publish new videos. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is to go to the Webpack boilerplate repo on my GitHub and get the starter code from there. You can either download the zip file or clone it. I'll put a link to this repo in the description of this video. Once you download it, open it in your IDE of choice. I'm using VS Code here. We need to do npm install so that we install all the existing packages in the package.json file. By the way, if you're wondering what the hell all these files and folders are, I have a video that I explain everything. I put a link in this video's description to that other video, and also you'll see links to that video throughout this one, and also at the end of this definitely you'll see a link to that other video. So once we do that, the first thing we're gonna do is to detect device type in our HTML and JavaScript. We're gonna use a package JavaScript library called UA parser.js. We are going to download this from npm, and basically it's a JavaScript library to detect browser engine, OS, CPU, and device type from user agent data. If we scroll down in this page, you'll see a sample code for Node.js. That's what we're using. I'm going to copy and paste it here and install this package --save in my project folder. And we should see that now in our package.json file. So that's all good. And we are going to require it. They require this package in our app.js. Let's see, let's put it here. I'm gonna call it UA parser, and then as you can see here, we need to get the user agent header in our request. So we need to have access to request our request to be able to get that. One thing we can do is basically in every single view that we have, we do write that code and get the request header, user agent, and then do whatever we need to do with that. But since we might need this information, the device type information in all our views, that's exactly what the middleware functions in Express are. So if you go to this web page, I will put a link in the description of this video. This is basically the Express.js website using middleware. It explains what middleware functions are, which are basically functions that have access to the request and response object, and we can make changes to these objects in this middleware function, and then using the next function we can let the program know that, hey, our request response cycle is not done, so move on to the next one. And that's exactly what the code that I have here is. So once the program goes through app.use this middleware, then it's gonna move to basically display whatever page that we have, to render whatever view that the user has requested. So here I am going to bring that UA parser code, getting the request header. Let's see, let's console.log request.header here, so we see headers here, so we see what we have there. In order to run the server, if you look at the package.json file, this is the npm start is the script that will run our dev server. So I'm gonna do npm start here, and once that's ready, we are going to localhost 3000, and there it is, localhost 3000. So we have our home page here, and we have a console.log the request headers, and in there you can see in that object we have this user agent key, which has values, like it shows you what the browser and like what OS you're using. Specifically, so we need that user agent there. If I do request header user agent, well, let's actually console.log UA here. Console.log UA to see what we get here. I'm gonna comment that one out, and right now we are in desktop. So what we see, we get from that UA console.log, we get a few key value pairs, but the one that we are interested in is device, and specifically device type. So apparently for desktop we have undefined. If I go to, let's say this is Galaxy S5 is a mobile, so you can see that the type is now mobile. And then if I go to, I pick, let's say iPad, which is a tablet, you will see now we have type of tablet. So that's how we get the device type. It can tell us if it's desktop, which was the type of undefined, and then if it's mobile or tablet. Now what we need is to basically pass the device type to all our views, and for that Express has an excellent property that we can use, res.locals, and basically you're defining variables using this, and then it will be all passed to all your views. Since it's in your middleware function, you can access those variables in all your views. So I am going to define 3 variables here. We need to add them basically to res.locals. We have res.locals that is desktop. If our device.type is undefined, if it's mobile, we have is phone, and if it's tablet, we have is tablet variable. And now we have access to these three variables in our in all our views. Let's go to our home view, our home.pog, and let's make a few changes there. As I said, you have directly access to those 3 variables here: is desktop, is tablet, is phone. So right now, just for simplicity, I'm just basically showing different welcome messages in my screen. It can be anything. I'll show an example in my portfolio how I use these different device type detections to like display different things, but for here I'm just using like simple things to explain how these work. So if I go back to my localhost 3000, you will see that I have here welcome home on tablet because it's iPad, and that's a tablet. If I do iPhone, you will see that it says phone, and then obviously if I go to desktop mode, I will see on desktop. So excellent. That's what we need there. So that's about HTML, in our case Pug, which is our HTML template engine. The second place we want to do the detection is in our JavaScript files, and our JavaScript files are under this app folder. Again, if you don't know what all these files and folders are, make sure to go see the other video that I have linked in the description, and also you will see links on top right corner of this video. Okay, so what we are gonna do here, first thing in our index.pug, which is actually being extended in all our views, we are gonna add a class to our HTML file. So that class basically includes what our device type is. As I said, since we have this res.locals that is desktop, is phone, and is tablet, now we have access to all these three variables in all our views, and since all our views are extending index.pug, we will have access to them in our index.pug too. So if is desktop, I'm gonna say it's desktop. If it's is tablet, and if it's phone, I will assign phone to it. Now, why do we do this? Because we are going to define a class in our JavaScript folder, which is app folder, and in there I am going to create a folder called classes. Let's do, and then I will have detection.js in there. I'm gonna rename it to classes, just we might have more classes later. And in this file, I'm gonna define a class called detection, and I just copied it here. I'm gonna explain what it does. So basically, this class, we have three different functions here: is phone, is desktop, and is tablet. And what we are returning is basically, if it's phone, we are returning that it's phone, and if it's tablet, we are returning it's a tablet, and a desktop if it's a desktop. And the reason we added that class to our HTML is that if we now, let's check out our view here. I'm gonna inspect this HTML. Now you see I have a class desktop because it's desktop. If I go to phone mode, that's gonna be phone. And if I go to tablet mode, you guessed it right, it's gonna be tablet. And I am going to access that class and see if that contains either of those three. Then I can decide if it's phone or tablet, or if it's a desktop. And that's why I wanted to assign that class to my HTML. Now, how do we use this class? Let's say I want to do something in my home index file. If I go to my home index.js, let's say, just for simplicity, I just want to do an if condition here to just console.log if it's a desktop. And if I save that, if I go back here, right now it's iPad, so its detection is, I had to import detection, which I forgot. If we import it here, now we should be fine. Let's see. Oh man, I have this wrong here. What am I doing? Rename this one to classes. I don't know why I did that. Here, now we should be fine. Alright, now I have iPad here. If I go to iPhone, still it's not desktop. If I refresh, we don't see anything. Now I'm in desktop and I do see it's desktop now. So for JavaScript, you probably want to do like different animations or things like that for your page, or any kind of JavaScript things that you want to do. If you want to make changes, make difference between different device types, you can use detection that is desktop or is phone, is tablet, to basically just assign those, let's say, animations to only your desktop. Just to show you an example, this is my portfolio website. If let's go, I am going to go to this portfolio page here. What is it? All right, there. So what I have here, I'm doing the same thing. Right now you see I have class of desktop here, and this thing here is set to start this animation when it's in desktop mode, and then you'll see the text appearing there. And if I like hold here, it's gonna do the animation and then the rest. And then I like can scroll and all that. But let's say we go to a phone mode and then I do that. Now I have phone here and I have set it for phone to do that animation at all the time. And then I have also this text saying just you need to tap. I don't want to hold in mobile or even tablet. So that's what I've used that detection for. Okay, this is just like a live example of that. Now, your case, you can find different use cases for this, but this is basically how you can define this classes. By the way, if you wonder what that was, that's like Three.js, and I will have videos on this Three.js later. So you can't do that animation anywhere else except in your JavaScript file. So you have to have this detection done in your JavaScript. So that's why we need the JavaScript detection here. Okay, the third thing that we need to talk about is accessing device type in your CSS or in your style file. Here I have a CSS, so we want to have access to the to know what device type we are using in our CSS file. Now for style, I've done a lot of research, and the best thing that I guess we can do is to detect whether it's touch screen and mobile device. And we can't really separate these two unless we want to look at screen size. So for that, I actually am going to show you this Stack Overflow post, and that's what I'm gonna use. So we're gonna use media queries, and this will actually tell us if we are using a touch screen or a mobile device, and if this is not met, then we are on a desktop. So again, this doesn't you can't distinguish between like mobile and tablet with this, but this is the best that I guess I've used, and it's all I needed, at least for my project. So if we go to our home.scss, let's say I want to change the color of my welcome note in a touch screen. That's just like an example, whatever you want. So here I have this add media only screen and hover and pointer. By the way, this media query, I will link some of the developer Mozilla stuff here. For example, here at media query, you can see like all this screen. It says if we include the screen, it only for intended for primarily for screens. So that's what we use. Then we have the hover thing here and also pointer here, so it explains everything here. And for this only keyword, I guess there is also another Stack Overflow post that I will link under this video. You can go and check it out, and that should help you understand what this only does here. So now if we save this SCSS file and we go back to our local host, right now we're on desktop, so it's gonna be just like a normal white color. If we go to iPhone, which is a phone, or a tablet, this is gonna be red. And back to desktop is white. So that's how you do the detection in CSS file or your style file. Let's see. So yeah, that's all. I'm gonna put all the links that I showed to you in the description of this video. And as I mentioned, I've used all these techniques in my portfolio website. You can go and check it out. Different things that I'm doing there, most of them depend on actually what device type I am using, so just check that out. And I will be posting this a link to this final code also in the description. If you want that final code, you can just grab it and then follow the video using that final code. Alrighty, if you feel this video is useful, make sure to like the video and make sure to subscribe to this channel, turn that notification bell on, and if you have any questions, leave a comment down below and I will make sure to get back to you guys as soon as possible. That's all for today. Thanks a lot for watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks.